Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Come in, Martha. Hello, Martha. Where are you, Martha? Martha? Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello? Anyone there? Hello, hello. Hello? Anyone there? Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Fine. Hello. Who's this?
Mr. Mpofu.
Mpofu.
Yes.
Kotsu andade.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Cool. Are you in
Yep.
Joburg?
Yeah, I'm currently in Joburg.
Cool.
Joburg.
And let me just get Martha. It seems she's online.
All right.
Okay. And what is, well, while we're waiting for Martha, Mpofu, what do you do for SheDad?
I'm currently joining SheDad. I just want to see what's happening on SheDad.
Oh, you just joined the organization?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Are you a
So we're with Martha.
Yes.
I was with Martha at the OA Youth. So I was with Martha at the OA Youth.
Cool. Oh, there is Matalenda. Hello,
How are you?
Martha.
How are you? Thank you. At least you know how to call my name. People
I
be
do.
pronouncing it somehow.
I know at least two of your names.
Oh
Matalenda.
yeah.
Yes.
And you're really calling it like a Zimbabwean.
Well,
Zimbabwean, call your name.
Yeah.
also for the others. Oh, now we're getting. Well, you and I have been friends for how many years now? Many years, right?
Yeah, I think we're on our what? We are going for our 11th year, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, there you go. So
Yeah.
So the least I can do is learn how to pronounce your name correctly, right?
Thank you.
All right, who else is joining us? So, so I see I just met Mpofu, and there's Susan.
Yeah. We have got Susan, we have got Lonjezo. He's based in Malawi. Yeah.
Cool. And how come Susan shares the same name, Shumba, with you?
Yeah, she's a Shumba. We are many. Even the president is a Shumba.
Oh, okay. Okay. Like Smith over
Which
here.
president?
Yeah.
Or Johnson. So well, Dumelang, Boandade.
Yeah, Dumela, Ujwang.
Kipela Hantle, Kayla Boa.
Yeah.
Just for your team to know, I don't know if you told them, but I lived in Lesotho for 4 years.
Yeah, they do know. He lived in, he's more of an African, actually. He lived in Lesotho. And I think with Susan is also involved with an HIV and AIDS projects. She's with International AIDS Society as well. So I think I did speak to her about you and the work that you did in Lesotho on HIV and AIDS,
Yes.
which was quite amazing. So
Well,
Michael has been around.
I've been around. That's true. That's true. So, well, it's a pleasure to meet you guys. Are we waiting for anyone else, or this is the
Yeah, I think that's the 4 that is available for now. If
Okay.
anybody's joining, I will
Cool.
know.
Cool. The fearsome foursome. Well, or the fantastic foursome. Well, it's good. Just to let you guys know, I'm also recording this. Okay. Since hopefully we discussed some important issues regarding your external communications, your strategic communications. Okay. And so you'll have a link to this recording if there's anything you want to refer back to, or to show the others who couldn't make it. Okay.
That's right.
To this session. So would you like to, Martha, would you like to introduce what's going on here today?
Yes. Thank you so much, Michael, for making the time. And we greatly appreciate your work and everything that you are doing to assist the NGOs, especially here in Africa, to tell their impact stories and to help us to prove our impact through the skills that we have, strategies and storytelling. It's actually great because most of the time, I think we've spoken about this, is that we just share our vision, mission, what we plan to do. And it's not really catchy to people and beneficiaries too, and donors and partners that we want to involve. So as an organization, yes, we've been around. We launched in 2018 in South Africa, Daveyton, and being a catalyst for the progressive transformation of the boy child and young men in Africa.
Yeah.
It's been bit of a long journey, if I call that too long. But just given, the imbalances in society, we have got girls on the other side, we've got boys and men on the other side. And sometimes it becomes more of a fight than an impact project. So it's been a bit of a challenge for us, but we have managed. From launching in South Africa, we had a lot of people joining from other countries, Uganda. We have got guys in Malawi, which includes Lonje, so who is leading the Malawi branch. We also have a team now in Zim that is quite big. They couldn't join us, network and stuff.
Yes.
We've got a team in Zim. We work with the schools, communities. We partner with other organizations, and it's been really quite amazing. We've partnered with a lot of organizations, and some of them are working with them online. I mean, COVID brought its own positives, so we're able to do a whole lot of stuff online. And we have visited really quite a number of schools, and yeah, especially in South Africa, we did quite a lot. We would go to school, have dialogues, webinars. We actually had some online that included everybody else talking about the challenges faced by the boy child, how it's not really much talked about and seems like a forgotten project. And their struggle to fit into a society where women are empowered. And that also goes to gender-based violence. Now they want to prove that I'm the man of their house to an empowered woman. So it's been like a bit of a journey. We have also worked with some relevant departments in South Africa. We are registered with the with the DSD, Department of Social Development. We also work with the Department of Education, but through different schools. That's how we're doing it in Uganda as well. We also have their DSD, their Department of Social Development. In Zim, we are also engaging relevant departments. We don't work with them directly, but these are institutions that are set to assist the NGOs, like certifications, or sometimes come in and just to share what they do and how they assist beneficiaries. But we are a full NGO. We recently received our UN special consultative status with
Cool.
ECOSOC.
Yes.
So it's been approved. And yeah, I think you also remember last year I was at the UN Women, CSW 67,
Yes.
to share what we do, how we do it.
Mhm.
And I really engaged with different organizations around the world.
Good.
So I think that's more like it for now.
Well, thank you for that introduction, because you brought up another important point, actually, that I want to give you an overview of strategic communications and how I think you guys, through your website and through your social media channels, can be more impactful, more persuasive with your target audiences for whomever is reading your website. Okay, how to prove that you
That's
guys
right.
are truly, on the one hand, you face two main challenges. On the one hand, to prove that you are who you say you are. Okay,
That's right.
I'll dive into this in just a moment, but also to prove that you are as impactful, as good as you claim that you are. Okay.
Yeah.
What you say, what you say that you've done. So, but another thing is, I'm going to talk about specific kinds of content you can create to have greater impact on your audience. But I can imagine for all these African organizations like yours, let me give all right, let me start from the beginning, okay, before I dive in. But don't let me forget partners, okay, and how you guys can prove that you guys are trustworthy partners. Because you just mentioned several different partnerships. With the Ministry of Education, we do this, and with the Ministry of that, we do that. Well, at some point, you must have somehow impressed them that you guys are a real organization, not just looking to collect money and put it in your pocket, but actually know we are a real organization with real activities and with real impact within our communities. Okay, then we will give our name, Ministry of Education. We will associate our name with your organization, which is not easy to do. They're not going to just say, yeah, we have partnerships all over. So there's real value to proving how exactly you guys became a trusted partner, because ultimately that is one of your main goals too, which is to prove that you can be a trusted partner for others, especially donors, those with money. Okay. So let me share my PowerPoint. Hold on just one second. I have a PowerPoint especially for you guys. Wait. Let me see where it is. Hold on. Okay. Here we go. Back to the top. Hold on, please.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, you can see my my PowerPoint here.
That's right.
Now,
Yep.
first of all, just a quick introduction before I get to that, okay? Because you may be wondering, who is this guy? He's a friend of Matarenda's, okay? But we don't really know who he is, okay? And I just want to let you know that what I'm going to be sharing with you today is a result of my own background. On the one hand, my background is as an international journalist, having reported from 30 different countries, for different newspapers and magazines, first from Europe, from Central and Eastern Europe. Then, as Martha said, I lived in Lesotho. I lived in Lesotho for 4 years. And so from Europe, as a foreign correspondent, as an international journalist, then I also became a visiting professor of international journalism. So I've been teaching international journalism for many years. But then once I moved to Lesotho and I saw how severe the health crisis was there, when I lived there from 2011 until 2015, Lesotho was suffering from the world's third highest rate of HIV infection. Now it's number 2. But I also learned that South Africa or Southern Africa is home to the four highest rates of HIV infection, right? There was former Swaziland, Lesotho, Botswana, and South Africa. So I learned how dramatic the HIV crisis was there. And I thought to myself, what can I do to contribute? So that's how I got involved with, okay, let me apply all my international journalism skills, strategies, and storytelling to health communications, to global communications, working with different nonprofits there in Lesotho. Okay, and in a few minutes, I'll show you one example. My most meaningful project where I learned the most was a project that I did on Lesotho's HIV orphans and caregivers, okay, which is where I learned many of these strategies that I'll share with you, okay? And so also to let you know that today, I'm now back. Oh, after Lesotho, then I lived in China and Beijing for 5 years. So after living on 4 continents, I'm now back in New York, here in New York City. And because I was so touched by my experience in Africa, in Southern Africa, that I wanted to maintain my connection with Africa. And so now today I'm working with different African nonprofits and African activists doing what I can. I'm working as a global communications advisor to 3 African nonprofits, one a women's organization, a women's NGO in Nigeria, another one working with HIV widows and orphans in Kenya, and a third now in Ghana as well. All of them based here in New York, but supporting different NGOs there in their respective homelands. And so I've known, like I said, I've known Matarenda now for 10, almost 11 years. We spoke about SheDad 2 years ago, and then I thought, wait, you know, we had a nice consultation, but now it'd be nice to meet some members of your team to also discuss some big picture strategies about how to improve your external content, especially to make a more positive impression on donors, on potential donors. Okay. And so that leads me to this this PowerPoint where you see I now call my can you see my screen?
That's right.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, I see someone else joined our call. This is
Okay. Let me see. I can see them now.
Who else joined our call? Hold on. Another member joined the call. Who else was there? So another gentleman joined the call. I can't see them right now, but
Okay.
let me
I think
continue.
it's Nizala. That one, I think it's Nizala.
Oh, yes, it's one of our guys in Malawi.
Oh, okay.
Nezala, yes.
Good. So let me continue. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. I don't want to just talk, although I'm very much capable of talking the whole time. Okay. So, so I call this now I give this training to different organizations, and I focus in on prove your impact with an exclamation point, with urgency. Okay. You guys, just like many organizations, need to move past the nice, happy words. We're aiming to, not just happy words, but aspirational language. We're trying to do this. We hope to do that. We aim to do that. We're striving to do this and that. Okay. But enough of the, pardon my French, enough of the bullshit. Okay. Because if you're aiming for a serious target audience of donors, okay, your target audience is going to be smart, but also skeptical. They're not going to fall for nice, happy words. Oh, they sound so wonderful what they're doing in Southern Africa. Here, let me give them thousands of dollars. Nope. No. They're going to say, hey, there are thousands of NGOs, nonprofits in Africa, all of them saying, and not just in Africa, but around the world, give us money, give us money, give us money. Okay. And those with the money are smart. They didn't collect this money by being dummies, okay? And so they are expecting you guys to work hard to prove your real impact on the ground and that you are deserving of these donor dollars. Okay. So now when I introduce this subject, I say, prove your impact with an exclamation point, some sense of urgency. Enough of the BS. Let's start to work hard to prove these things. Okay. And now the rest of it is, as you see, I want to share some skills, strategies, and storytelling to overcome that donor skepticism. Okay. That they're not going to believe you. So then how to convince them, how to persuade them. Okay.
That's right.
So let's move to the next one. Okay. Big picture. The way I describe this is nowadays we're swimming in a sea of brands. We're all brands somehow. Okay. Whether it's government agencies, whether it's companies, whether it's nonprofits, whether it's individual professionals. Okay. If you guys are one day looking for a communication specialist, you'll find 100 and all of them will somehow say that they are good at what they do. Okay. Like if you, in terms of brands, someone says, hey, this is the best phone. The company will say, we are number one. We're the best. And some people will be like, oh, they say they're the best. Oh, then they must be good. Okay. Our audience is going to be different. Let me explain that in a minute. Okay. They're going to be smarter, more skeptical. Okay. I will send a link to this recording. Okay. So you'll be able to see this if you want to pause and all that. But I want to talk about that nowadays, as we know, there are many liars online, scammers, okay,
That's right.
cheats. They're trying to misinform, disinform, to harm us somehow. So we all need to become smarter about how we consume information, okay? And then if for some reason we have a heart and we have money and we want to support nonprofit organizations, guess what? There are many nonprofits that are lying and lying about their positive impacts, okay? So then this becomes also a question of media literacy, okay? That we all need to become smarter about what we consume, especially what we pass on to others. We don't want to be passing on fake news, fake information to others. But in this situation, on the one hand, we need to become smarter, but we also need to recognize that our target audience is becoming smarter. Okay. And the only way that we need to have respect for the intellect of the audience that, hey, we're not dealing with dummies. We can't just say we're the most impressive or most important women's or youth organization in South Africa. You better be able to prove that you truly are impactful on the ground. And so this is very important in the middle of this slide. I always talk about two challenges, your two main challenges, okay? Which is to prove who exactly you are and that you're really doing what you say you're doing. Again, organizations could be lying. This is important for all you guys, actually with your LinkedIn, even with your LinkedIn platform. Almost every day, I'm approached by one person who's saying, hey, Michael, I can help you and your consultancy, you and your company, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? I believe many of them are scams. Okay. Many of them I just ignore and all that. But then you go to the profile. Anyone could say that they do whatever. Anyone could claim to be like Mataranda saying, I founded an NGO in Africa. You steal some photos from online of happy children you're helping. These are the people I'm benefiting, my beneficiaries. Anyone could be lying and cheating and scamming and all that, okay? So our first challenge, even myself as a global communications specialist, I need to prove that I am who I say I am, doing what I say I'm doing, and more importantly, that I am exactly as good as I claim to be, okay? We all need to be able to do that, all right? Now, real quick, there are, in general, as I've learned from living not just in America, but in Europe, Africa, and in Asia, there are two different types of audience in the world, okay? One of them, as you see on the left, are sheep-like, okay? With all due respect, some of them may be our family and friends, okay? But they follow blindly. They hear something in the media, or even right now, here in New York City, there's a pizzeria across the street that says, New York's best pizza. Says who? Says us, okay? right? No one else is saying that. That's not evidence. Okay. So me, with my skeptical mind, why should I believe you are New York's best pizza? You see what I mean? Something as simple as that, that sheep-like followers will believe, okay, and do as they're told, okay? On the other hand, are the critical thinkers, okay? Those who will question, those who are skeptical, that will not immediately believe our words, but will demand, will insist that we prove that we mean what we say, okay, and that what we say is true. You see, I consider myself part of that audience on the right, okay? And by the way, more importantly than me, are the donors. Again, the donors are the critical thinkers who are not going to just believe anything you tell them. They're going to insist that you raise your game, step up your game to prove that you are truly as impactful and effective as you claim to be, okay? This is, look, guys, I'm sharing this with you. You know why? Because the first most important strategy for you guys to develop is empathy and EQ, okay? Not just IQ to be smart, but EQ and empathy, meaning to understand ourselves in the shoes of our target audience, okay? Not just that we sit at our computer and say, what do we want to put on our website? Let's put this, let's put that. No, to think through, hey, let's put this, let's put that. But why should we? Why exactly should we put this piece of content? Will it hit our target? Who is our target? What are they looking for and why? And if we create this content, will it actually hit our targets effectively? Okay. By the way, for the example I always give with empathy, for you guys to really understand what I mean, is if, for example, after this training, you go out into the streets of Joburg, okay, or you're in Malawi, right? And you go out into the streets and you see a mother pushing her child in a wheelchair, okay? You might feel badly for her, like, oh, that looks terrible to have a child in a wheelchair, right? That's sympathy. You have a heart, so you sympathize. But empathy, even if you're a male, you're like, wow, imagine if I were that mother in her shoes every day, seeing little boys and girls running around, laughing, playing, and trying to enjoy their life. And my child is in a wheelchair. Wow, if I were in her shoes, that would be so painful every day. That's empathy. Imagine yourself in the shoes of your target audience, okay? So in this situation, it's not enough to say, hey, our audience, our target audience, our donors, we want money, we need money to support our activities, even to pay us, ideally, that we're not all volunteers, but eventually could become paid staff members, okay? That then we had to think through, well, who exactly are these donors? Why are they our donors? What are they looking for in terms of NGOs to support, and why exactly are they looking for that from their donors, okay? And if we know that they're looking for X, Y, Z, then let's give it to them. If they're looking for evidence, then we must provide them with evidence to make them happy, okay? Okay, because as you know with strangers, a stranger comes up to you and we're defensive. Who is this person? Why are they approaching me? Are they trying to hurt me somehow? Okay. There's always going to be a wall of suspicion between strangers, between your organization and a donor. Who are they? Why are they approaching me with a proposal for donations? So our challenge with our communications is to lower that wall of suspicion and to build a bridge of trust. Okay. And the only way to do that, I've learned, there are only two ways to do that, okay? If your target audience, here, let me see, I have more slides. You'll see that I have who exactly are our target audience, okay? And, okay, just one second. So what I realized that there are only two ways to hit our target, okay, to reach our target audience. They are smart, they care for some reason, they are ready, they have money, they're ready to give money, but not just to any organization. How to hit our target can only be done with concrete, meaning specific, credible, meaning believable, even verifiable evidence that can be proven. Okay. So, for example, next time you have a training, on the one hand, next time you have a training, you got to remember to take photos of yourselves actually training, and then get some nice close-up photos of the kids you're working with. Okay. So we can see their eyes. Okay. On the one hand, you know why? Because evidence, that concrete, credible evidence, can touch the mind of a skeptic. Why should I believe them? Oh, well, now I see content of them out in the field making a difference with their trainings, seminars, mentoring, whatever it is. Okay. So that kind of evidence can help touch the mind of a skeptic, to persuade a skeptic. On the other hand, is humanizing content, okay, can touch the heart of a skeptic. All right. We need on your website, we need here, let me see for a second. Hold on. I also saw on your website. Wait. Yes, here. I'll switch just so it's not just me talking all the time about, but to relate it to, okay. But to relate it to your website. Can you guys see your website now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, at the heart of your organization is helping real people, real kids, real youth, right? And right at the top, I want to see some of those youth. I want to see eyes, because the eyes are the window onto the soul. Okay. I want to
That's
see,
right.
I want to see the faces of kids you're actually reaching and touching. Okay. Not, with all due respect, not an abstract photo of lights. Okay. Or hands, nice hands, different color hands, the rainbow of hands. Beautiful. But your organization is not to build hands. And then I'm looking at photos. Hey, with all due respect, are you working with Black Africans or white Africans?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I saw another. Where is it about us here? Where are the services? Here. Why am I seeing two white faces? With all due respect. Okay. I'm
Yeah,
guessing these are not your beneficiaries.
that's right.
Okay. So I want to see the faces, because, like I said, the humanizing content can also touch the heart of a skeptic. It's the combination, touching the mind and the heart, that, hey, this organization seems to be doing real good. Okay. Making real efforts and having real impact. Okay. Just one quick thing. All right. I'll get back to your website in a second. Okay. First of all, any questions so far?
No.
Not
I think
from my
it's
side.
clear.
Please let me know.
I think
Okay.
it's clear.
It's what? What's that? It's clear?
I'm saying I think it's clear. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's what I'm aiming for. Clarity.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of my favorite expressions also on this page, I learned this in journalism long ago, and I want you guys to keep this in mind too. Show me, don't just tell me. Okay. And I'll look at your website. I'll make comments about your website, meaning don't just tell me we're doing this, we're doing that. You need to show that you're doing this, you're doing that, to prove that you're doing these things. Okay. So that's why, on the one hand, visual evidence is so important. Okay. You may say, oh, I'm shy, I don't want photos of me. Hey, this is not about your own vanity. Okay. This is also about, we need to prove that we're actually doing what we say we're doing. Okay. Even, guess what, guys? I need to prove here in New York that I'm doing what I say I'm doing. Because right now, I'm telling organizations, oh, I'm working with African organizations, African nonprofits, African activists. And my audience, my target audience, will say, Why should we believe you, Michael? Anyone can talk about working with African NGOs and activists. So guess what I'm going to do at the end of this session today? I'm going to take a screenshot of us. Okay, some visual evidence of us that, oh, I see Michael and I see Africans. That's right. I worked with them for an hour and a half. Okay, I
That's
need
right.
evidence. Okay, so I'm not just saying do what I say. I'm saying do as I do as well. And if you guys look at my website, if you look at my LinkedIn, you'll see that I'm always providing various forms of evidence, in this case, visual evidence. Okay. And we'll talk about other forms of evidence too. Okay. But now let me get to what I call strategic storytelling. Okay. You guys need, by now, Martha, you founded your organization in 2018.
That's right.
Okay. It's now 2024. That means you've been around for 6 years.
That's right.
Martha, let me ask you, when was your first training, your first workshop, your first activity for African youth in Johannesburg and elsewhere? When was it?
It was in November 2018 when we launched in Daveyton, South Africa. It's one of the locations. So that was our first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about 6 years ago, guys. Okay. And you know what you need to do as
Yes.
one piece of evidence is you need to, let's look back. Who was there at that workshop 6 years ago when they were 10 years old, 12, 14, 16 years old? Some of the boys that were there, right? Some of them, I can only imagine, left that training and was like, that was nice or whatever, and they continue to live their life. Okay. What we're looking for, you can't win over every kid who comes to your trainings, to your workshops, I'm sure. What you're looking for are those kids who then were like, I like what I'm hearing. And you know what? I'm going to embrace what they're saying. I'm going to start to incorporate some of these things. I want to start to live my life according to what they're advising. Okay. And so what you need to do, for example, let's find some of those kids from 4, 5, 6 years ago whose lives we actually positively changed, and to tell their story as an impact story, as evidence of our impact. Okay. And I want you guys to do that. You may say, Michael, that's 4, 5, 6 years ago. The same holds true today. If you have a training next week, I want you guys to go into it with the attitude needing two forms of content, okay? Which is, we need to prove we were there, that we gave this training, that we reached 10, 20, 30 African youth. But then we need to follow up with some of these kids 1 month later, 6 months later, 1 year later, okay? We need to follow up and to ask them, even to interview them. So how, in what way did the lessons that you learned, the skills that you learned, did you incorporate, did you include any in your life? Did any of them change your life in any way? Yeah, when I went back home, I started to be more respectful. I don't know, to my sister, to my mother, to women around me. Let's say that's one. I know that's one of the aims. Okay, is to be more respectful of those of gender equality and avoiding gender-based violence, right? And drugs, alcohol, that sort of thing. You need to do some detective work, to think like a detective. Hey, something's going on here. We believe in our organization. We believe we're doing something positive, but we're trying to prove that to a faraway audience in New York, London, Paris, Berlin. They have money. They're prepared to give money to only to organizations they believe, that they trust, are actually making a difference. So we need to prove that when we have a training and a workshop and a seminar and mentoring and all that, that we are planting seeds and we are nurturing, we are watering, we're cultivating, okay? And maybe after 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, it's taking root. and it's starting to sprout, right? Not every seedling will grow. Some will wither and die, but you guys have to work harder. You know, intellectually speaking, like we need to identify where those roots took hold and began to grow something positive, and to bring to light, to unearth some of that evidence, and then to bring it to light. We need this to prove to donors to overcome their skepticism, okay? That we, among all other South African-based organizations, are making a difference. So we deserve some financial support to continue what we're doing. You see what I mean?
That's right.
What do you guys think?
I think that's from my side, I think that's really great. I wouldn't give or donate to somebody who's just saying this is what I do. I would also want to see what you are doing, where you are doing it, the impact of it. I need evidence. And these days, since most of these things are online, there's a lot of work to be done. We can't come to your village in Malawi or in Zimbabwe to come and see what you are doing. So you need to be really convincing with whatever you are doing.
That's right. And this is two forms of evidence, because and I'll apply this to myself. I just told you a few minutes ago, hey, I'm going to snap a screenshot, right? To prove I gave a team training to an African NGO, right? But that's only one piece of evidence. If I want to prove my impact, I mean, you guys could be sitting there, it goes in one ear, out the other, and tomorrow you go on with your life. Yeah, that was nice, but whatever, right? Listening to Michael, whatever. If I want to prove my evidence, then I would check back with you in a month, 6 months, or a year. Hey, Matarenda, or the rest of you, what, if anything, did you take away from this training? That then, we had a conference room meeting, you know, around a conference room table, a staff meeting, we discussed, all right, let's start to follow through and implement some of the things Michael talked about. Let's do X, let's do Y, let's do Z. And then I start to see it on your website. Aha, Michael's got some evidence of impact. You see what I mean? I need that. And that's why, by the way, I know I'm jumping ahead. All right. Let me not jump ahead. But I'll show you the example of this Nigerian women's NGO I've been working with for several months this year, and I will show you some evidence of MJ's impact. Okay, that's me. But right here, first, I want to share with you my definition. So I think you guys need, as part of your strategic communications, what I call strategic storytelling. Okay. I want you guys to start to think through before you start posting content. Hey, let's be smart about this, okay? Let's be strategic about this. We pick and choose carefully what we write about and why we write about it and how we write about it, that it serves a purpose. So my definition here of what I mean by strategic storytelling is storytelling for a purpose, content creation for a purpose, okay? Especially, as I said, it aims to achieve an objective. In this case, to persuade donors, okay? Especially, as I say, if you and your organization are under pressure to prove that you guys are good at what you do, that you're actually positively impacting African boys and young African men. Prove it to me, okay? So how to do it, right? And then I say a key component, as I said, is concrete, specific, credible, meaning believable, verifiable, meaning can be proven, and that you present it transparently. We have nothing to hide. We believe in our impact, right? So then we're going to be very open and clear and transparent to prove to you, because we have respect for your intelligence. Okay, we're not going to just expect you to be sheep, like nodding your head, but we're going to work hard to prove that. Okay. All right.
That's right.
So that's
Yes.
why I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were saying, Martha? You were saying?
No, I was agreeing with you.
Good. I like that. Although you could disagree, we can discuss, we can debate. I'm open to disagreement, but But you know what? I don't want you guys to feel badly like, oh man, you know, that oh, there are problems with our website and all that. Because I'm telling you, I'm finding this with so many, not just nonprofits, I work with companies too. So many companies are failing to do this. They may say, we are environmental friendly, eco-friendly. Okay. Where's the evidence? Take our word for it. Trust us. No, no. It's not good enough. Okay. So now finally they're recognizing we need to work harder to prove. It's one thing again, if we're trying to reach the sheep, okay, to persuade the sheep, not so difficult. But that's not sustainable too. There are just so many times you can say this is the best mobile phone if actually it turns out to be not the best. Okay, then it's like, I don't believe them, they're lying. Okay. Versus no, more sustainable is, hey, when they say they're good and they're doing something well, they always provide the evidence to prove that. Okay. So now the trust is there. I believe what they're saying when they say something. Okay. So I could get into I usually talk about when I have more time to talk about how I learned these skills. You see me there in the middle with the long hair. This is me as a young journalist, but I'm going to fly by my background, how I became a journalist in Central Europe. And I'm going to jump ahead. This is my first major piece published in a newspaper when I wrote about the Bosnian War in Europe and babies born as a result of rape. So I've written a lot about women's issues and violence over the years. Okay. Here's one thing I want to share with you. Okay. One of the most important lessons that I learned as a young journalist and now applied to you guys. Okay. When I was a young reporter, and I wanted to, not only did I want to make money, I wanted to be published. I wanted my articles to be published. And I wanted to travel for my journalism. I wanted someone to pay for my travel. Okay. But it wasn't easy. I also had to work hard to persuade my target audience. That's what I want to share with you. Okay. I developed this little strategy, which I call the intersection of self-interest. I have a self-interest. Okay. You have a self-interest. All right. In this case, as a young journalist, my self-interest, me, was, as you see over on the left-hand side, I wanted to sell my ideas. I wanted to sell my stories. I wanted to get published. I wanted to get paid. I wanted to travel for free. I wanted to make my boss happy so that they would keep giving me more assignments and sending me to different countries to report and travel for free. Okay. Right. Okay. And of course, I wanted to climb the ladder. And I realized this is not easy to do. Okay. And I can't be so self-absorbed, me. I have to think about who's got the money, who would enable me to do these things to achieve my objectives. It was the editors. Okay. The editors of newspapers and magazines are the gatekeepers. They're not going to just publish anything. As I learned, I studied my target audience. What do they want and why? They want stories that are either interesting for some reason for their readers to consume or important. Okay. So I realized, I need to prove that my ideas, my story ideas are either interesting or important. Okay. And then I need to come up with ideas that their own staff couldn't produce. That's why I was a freelancer. So I was looking for opportunities. Okay. And so, but what I realized, and this is important, is that my interests and their interests actually intersect. There's some shared self-interest there in the middle of these circles. Okay. So that's right. They want to publish some interesting, important stories. I have interesting, important ideas. I want them published, right? So then as you see in the middle there, can I push the right button? And at the bottom of the screen, you'll see I learned my ideas better be either interesting or important, or ideally both. And once I convinced them of that their readers would find it interesting and important, then I must deliver. I can't just give words. I must prove and deliver the product, deliver the article. Okay. Now here's how I apply it to you guys. Okay. Applied to you. Okay. To your programs and initiatives, right? That and this is important for you guys to have your own staff meeting around a conference room table, like, okay, what are we aiming to do? What are our objectives, right? Short term, long term, let's think about this, right? But what's also our self-interest? As Michael said, prove who we are, that we are who we say we are, and do what we say we do. We need to prove that we are as good and as impactful as we claim to be. Our self-interest is also to reach more African youth, to impact more people, and then, of course, to attract more money to impact more people, right? Aha, that's us. If we're just thinking in a self-centered, self-absorbed way. Now we think through the donor, the partner, their self-interest, right? And as I wrote here, they want to contribute to credible, believable organizations that have the capacity, have the ability, right? That are truly on the front lines of an issue. You need to prove that, hey, we are on the ground. You can't just say, oh, and we have branch offices in South Africa, Malawi, and where else?
Uganda and Zimbabwe.
Uganda and Zimbabwe, right? We need to prove that we are in these different countries and doing what we say we're doing, right? They may be under pressure, donors may be under pressure to also to publicly prove to the public, to government, to shareholders, whomever, that we are supporting impactful causes. It's not just, oh, we're supporting this SheDad in South Africa. Who are they? Are they any good? Okay, they also need to prove that they're supporting a really impactful organization. Okay, so they are looking for a win-win. This is good for us to show that we are investing our money wisely in good organizations, impactful organizations, right? And it benefits them that our money is making a difference on the ground, in the field, at the grassroots, right? And then there's that overlap. You see, there's an overlap of self-interest for you guys to recognize, hey, okay, who we're trying to aim for. They have a self-interest too. And then how to push the right button. That both sides need to prove, have a need to persuasively convince a skeptical audience. And an impact story, as I said, strategic storytelling, can be a win-win that proves impact for both sides too. Okay? Any questions about that so far?
Yeah, not from my side, but guys, you can ask questions.
Yeah, any questions? Please.
Sure.
Yes, Longezo.
I'm saying I don't have a question.
Oh, okay. I saw the green light go on. Susan, what do you think?
I want to ask about how to prove our impact, like to prove to the donor that I'm working with the community or the clients when there are issues to do with their confidentiality. Some people, they don't want to have their pictures published, depending with who they are. If you're working with victims of rape, people living with HIV, they might not want you to take pictures. So you'd rather have to take your own pictures and leave the audience. So how will the donor trust?
That's a great question. Thank you for that. You know, in my journalism over the years, I've worked with some very sensitive issues, including victims of rape. Okay, women in a protected home, you know, protecting them from their abusive husbands or boyfriends or fathers, right? And you know what? It's of course a very sensitive issue, but there are ways to do it. On the one hand, first of all, to convince them to talk. They may be like, why? You say, oh, may I share your story? So here's how I learn to approach people, okay? Women especially, right? Here I am a guy. I'm a white guy, okay? They may be, you're a stranger to me. Why should I share my story with you, right? So first of all, there needs to be trust, that they trust you are who you say you are, and that you are truly from an organization that's trying to make a meaningful difference. Right now, hopefully, Susan, they believe, okay, she's with SheDad, and I have that they've lowered the wall of suspicion, built a bridge of trust. I trust that organization, first of all, right? If they don't trust you, they're not going to share anything with you, right? Go away. Okay, you're trying to hurt me, perhaps, or I don't believe you, right? So you earn their trust. It's the first step. Second is that I would say, may may I ask you about your story and to write about your story, please? Why? Why do you need to know that? Because there are many others like you who are suffering in silence. I used to use this line, okay? There are many others who are suffering in silence, okay? And if you are willing to share your story, okay, it can, I can't guarantee, but it can benefit others, okay? Because your story is also symbolic. It's symbolic of other women who have been raped, who have been abused, who have been exploited, what have you. And by sharing your story and some of the other people we're trying to help, we believe we can help make a difference for others to raise awareness, minimally to help raise awareness of the problem. And you know what, Susan, what this does, sometimes it empowers a woman too, that you mean by sharing my story, I can help make a difference for others? Sometimes it's even maybe therapeutic. Like, hey, you mean I can turn this negative into a positive by sharing my story? Maybe I can raise awareness of what others, hundreds, thousands of women may also be experiencing. Okay, right? So there's also that. And what I call this, by the way, and you can say, we also want to give voice to the voiceless. I always love that expression because that's one of the roles of journalism, or it ought to be, is also to give voice to the voiceless, right? And then if you're approaching Mary, you say, Mary, by sharing your story, you can also give voice to the voiceless, right? You can also help those who are suffering in silence, who don't have this ability to share their story, okay? Now that's part of it, okay? You're talking about also the logistics of, can we use their name? Can we shoot a photo of their face? Okay. First of all, you know, the best, the most ideal, because I always face the challenge of how to earn trust from the reader. And the best way to do it is to show someone's face and to use their real name. This is a real person who exists. But I understand their sensitivity very often, right? And you could be speaking with a woman who says, hey, you know, if I'm interviewing and I say, may I ask you for your name and may I take a photo of you? No, 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 no. I would always say very politely, very respectfully, okay, I understand. May I ask why not? And she may say, hey, my abusive ex-husband is still out there. I'm hiding from him. If my face and that I'm in this home is published, he's going to come after me. All right, of course, I understand. There's no way I would want to do any harm. So how to protect her identity and her location, right? So on the one hand, if now we know, okay, that becomes a detail for our story, okay, that then we can say Mary, comma, who did not want to give her real name for fear that her ex-husband would come looking for her, comma, and the reader's like, whoa, shit, that's pretty serious. That's hardcore. Yes, that's what this woman is living through right now. She's literally in hiding, but she was brave enough to share her story, okay? So in that situation, we could use a fake name, but we make clear to the audience, it's not her real name because... And that makes for a more dramatic story, frankly. Like, wow, okay, go ahead. It's okay to not use your real name. We understand. Now, as for a photo, you know what? It is possible. Here, watch this. You see my face? You could take a photo from the back, okay? Or lights off, maybe a nice silhouette. We just see a face, but we can't identify her on the street. We don't know who it really is, okay? Or a boy or a young man, but there's value to, we need to earn the trust of our audience. So we would, some sort of evidence that we spoke with a real person. You see what I mean?
That's right.
Okay. And so you could shoot photos from the side, from the back, with no lights on, kind of shadows and all that, and then show it to her. Is that okay? Are you comfortable with that? Because there's value to showing we spoke with a real person. Okay. Yes, that's, and I see what I would often explain to the source that now I understand why you need some details to overcome the suspicion of the readers that maybe this is a fake story. You see what I mean? So Susan,
That's
would
right.
that work? Would that work, do you think?
Yes, I think that will work. Thank you so much.
Okay, you see what I mean? That then and ultimately to make them feel like to help empower them actually like, wow, I
Yes.
could share my story and do some good from this. Often will persuade them like, wow, very
Michael,
meaningful. Okay,
Yes, thank you.
good. Any
no.
other questions? Yeah. Mpofu, did you want to say something? I couldn't tell if you were saying something.
Michael,
Yeah,
can I say something?
please, of course. Is that Nizala?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah,
That's
go ahead.
Mpofu.
Mpofu,
Can you
go
guys hear
ahead.
me?
I hear.
Yes.
I hear.
Oh, I think its network is jamming.
Ah, yes. I'll be patient. Go ahead. You want to send them a message that yes, we hear. Plus, we're recording right now, so
Yeah.
we will hear it. Oh, but it looks
Oh,
like the screen froze.
yeah, it seems like he froze.
Okay. Maybe he'll come back, but
Yeah.
oh, yes. Mpofu.
I don't know whether it's my network or what.
Go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
seems like it.
So I just had a comment.
Yeah.
So Michael, how about if you do a soft focus? I wanted to say, is it possible for you to do a soft focus
Yes.
or even a blur image?
I mean, I would say very soft.
Will that work?
Yeah.
Let's say
Of
you're
course.
telling a
Of
story.
course. Look, I want you guys to be smart about it, but also be responsible. Okay, because hey, it's also your reputation. If you expose the identity of someone who trusted you, you could, of course, harm the entire reputation of the organization. Hey, don't talk to them. They're going to take your name and put it online and all that. Okay, so that's also what journalists have to deal with too when you're earning the trust of someone. And if you say, I will not expose your identity or your location, if they need that, okay, because more important is the story. Okay, your story is important. We want to share that story, especially we have our self-interest. We want to not just share the story, but we want to share how we were able to help you. In
That's
other
right.
words, positively impact you.
But I think it comes in two ways.
How so?
I'm saying it comes in two ways.
Yeah.
This thing of storytelling.
Yeah.
Sometimes people want to see the emotions attached to the images. They can relate much better in terms of visual literacy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why, and it's worth repeating. That's why I said there are two ways when you have a smart but skeptical audience. The evidence can touch the mind of a skeptic, okay? But the humanizing, especially to highlight the shared humanity, okay, can touch the hearts, right? Even, let's say, Americans, it could be white Americans, could be white Brits, white French in Paris. You tell the story of a woman, everyone has a mother, sister, cousin, daughter, everyone knows a woman. And if they hear about abuse, oh, we have abuse in our country. We have violence against women in our country. And so I don't even have to have been to Malawi or Joburg to be able to, that's the shared humanity, okay, that we all have in common. So there are ways to tell a story that can connect with someone who's never been to your country, okay, and knows
right.
about your culture, okay? Yeah, so that storytelling absolutely serves a purpose, okay?
That's right.
So let me share. We have, well, is it okay if we go a little longer? It's now 12 o'clock here. It's okay?
Yeah.
Do we have
I'm okay with that.
Okay,
as long as it's less than an hour.
Yes, I want to share a story from Lesotho, okay, how I learned these things, all right? And then I want to look at your website. I made some comments about your website, okay, to look at specifically, all right? So here is back to my PowerPoint for a moment, okay? Here's a story I want to share with you, okay? This is a Mosotho
I'm
from
sure Martha is
Lesotho.
writing notes about
From
the
Les-
website.
From
Yes, yes.
Lesotho, okay. So I was hired. Okay. So I was hired by this organization called Management Sciences for Health. Okay. And they had a 5-year project in Lesotho for HIV orphans and caregivers. And guess what? After the 5 years, they were under pressure from the donors to prove that they had spent the money wisely, especially since the organization was asking for more money. So they had to prove that, A, we are making real impacts in Lesotho when it comes to HIV orphans and their caregivers, okay? So they hired me to help prove that, okay? And so this was a mix of journalism work, but also detective work, okay? For me, they sent me up into the mountains, into the Maluti Mountains, two trips, 2 weeks where I interviewed and photographed 24 HIV orphans and their caregivers, okay? And then wrote the stories for this book. Then they published this book online, Voices from the Mountains of Lesotho, okay? I don't know if any of you have been to Lesotho, but it's a very beautiful country, high in the mountains with the only skiing in all of Africa and all that. And as you see, this is the way the Basotho live in the Rondavels, okay? Like in many parts of Southern Africa. Anyway, this was one of the women I interviewed, okay? And this woman had a very interesting story. She was one of the beneficiaries, okay? And her story was, and I took this photo, by the way, and she and her husband had 3 healthy children, okay? They wanted a 4th, except her husband was now HIV positive, and he had infected his wife, this woman, through unprotected sex. Okay. I didn't get into how exactly did your husband become infected, but probably from working in the mines, maybe with the prostitutes at the mines of South Africa. And it's very common for the Basotho then to come home to Lesotho and unfortunately to infect their wives and others. And then for the mothers to then infect their unborn children through mother to child transmission. So this woman and her husband, both of them now HIV positive, wanted to have a 4th child, but of course, HIV negative. They wanted a healthy baby, right? And so now they had 2 choices basically. Then they heard about a training that this organization was coming into the mountains to different health clinics in the mountains, and they were calling for all the women and girls to come down from the mountains to the health clinic for trainings on, hey, even if you're HIV positive, it's possible to have an HIV negative baby, okay? Now, this woman faced a choice. She could have ignored. I heard about some training at the health clinic. Oh, it's many hours away by horse, by donkey. I had to come down to the health clinic and all that. But we also have our local witch doctor here. We also have our own healer here who advises do X, Y, Z, and it's good enough. No. She and her husband agreed that we're going to go down to the health clinic to listen to what these doctors and nurses have to say. Okay. She heard that. She got tested. She was put on the ARTs, the antiretroviral treatments, right? And the trainers there said, look, if you come to us, if you become pregnant, you come to us once a month so we can check on you, make sure everything's fine. You stay on the meds, the antiretrovirals. We believe that you'll be able to give birth to an HIV negative baby. They believed, they trusted, okay? And in the end, she gave birth to an HIV negative baby, okay? So this is an example. This is potential for an impact story, okay? How this organization positively impacted this woman, her family, but even the community itself, okay? And what I learned here, then I wrote this story. I also took this photo So there were 24 stories like that in this online book, right? This digital book. So from this, I wanted to share with you, I learned a strategy. I developed my own strategy, my own interviewing and storytelling strategy that I want to share with you. Right? Okay. I call it the fork in the road. Okay. It starts at the bottom here. She was living her life. Okay. And I'm interviewing. I want you guys to start to do this for SheDad. Okay. You're interviewing them about, tell me what your life was like before. Oh, my life was very hard. You guys may say, oh, life was hard. You all know that because you're from Southern Africa, but you're not writing for a Southern African audience. You're writing for donors who maybe have never been to Malawi or to South Africa or Zim, wherever. Okay. So then you say, how hard was it? Could you please describe in some detail how hard was it? Okay. They talk about how maybe if they were hungry, not enough food. Okay. Maybe not enough money to go to school, to send the children to school. Maybe not shoes, no book bag, no uniforms, no school fees, whatever it may be. They're describing. And oh, there was violence, there was drugs, there was alcohol, there was violence or abuse of women. They're describing what life was like. Okay. So you see, I wrote the questions there. What exactly was their life like before? Why exactly was their life like this? Okay. Have them paint a picture with their words to describe like what their life was like. Okay. Ask for examples. How hard was it? How dangerous was it? How violent was it? How hungry were you? Okay, just to describe these things, right? How desperate were you? Whatever it may be. And we're being respectful. We're sharing their story. Now, then they're living their life and they face a fork in the road. Okay. They hear about the health clinic training, or in this situation, they hear about SheDad. They hear there's this organization. They have some training, some activity, some workshop. They face a choice. They could ignore it. I don't know them. I'm too busy. I don't care. I'm fine on my own. So they could go to the left. This woman, this Mosutu, could have ignored, and she and her husband could have produced an HIV positive baby who would have been on meds the rest of the child's life. Okay. So you could also ask, well, if you hadn't come to our training, what would your life have been like? Okay. And they could describe, it would have been one filled with bad choices, bad decisions, with temptations, with violence, with this, with that. Okay.
Sorry.
But in this situation, when they heard this knock on the door of SheDad or of this health clinic training, there's a knock on the door, and for some reason, they listened. Why did you decide to come to the training? Okay. I thought, hey, maybe they can make a difference. Maybe they can help. Maybe I can learn something to benefit me, my self-interest, that maybe if I go, it'll be good for me somehow. Okay. So there's this, as I described, the knock on the door. Okay. It could be a real knock on the door or the figurative. Okay. Some effort at intervention in their life. Okay. In this situation, you describe the intervention. Okay. And it could be, we heard about SheDad from my neighbor, from my classmate, from my friend. Okay. You're describing, and then what? And then what? So there's a knock on the door, and simply put, so then what? You came to the training. And then what happened? You learned what? What did you hear? All right. They told us about this. They told us about, and then what? And then what? Did you like what you heard? Did you agree with what you heard? Okay. So you're illuminating, which means to bring light onto the intervention in their life, the influence you guys began to have, which then becomes impact. Okay. Then you left the training, the seminar, the workshop. And then what happened? I went back home. And did you ignore what you learned? No, no, no. I began to do this. Why? I began to do that. Why? So now you're getting some of these really important details, step by step, brick by brick, of how you guys began to have some positive impact in their lives. You see what I mean?
That's right.
Okay? That's what
Mhm.
you need to prove as detectives. Okay? A crime
right.
has taken place here. We see the tape around the body. Aha, we need to investigate what exactly happened here to prove our case. Like lawyers in the courtroom, the judge and jury are donors. And now we need to take that evidence as young detectives and to make our case. Okay? So you need some of these stories. Okay? It can be
That's
done.
right.
You see? Okay? Any questions about that?
Yep. Nope.
It's all clear?
Yeah,
Nothing on
it's
my end.
great, man.
I'm also trying to teach you guys how to become strategic storytellers, not just storytellers, but strategic storytellers. Okay?
That's right.
Because you need it. This is like eating your vegetables, eating your morojo. It's important. It's healthy for you. Okay?
That's right.
Well, now wait, one more thing I want to share. Okay? I could talk more about the storytelling process, and maybe at some point we will have a writing workshop. Okay? But I want to share
Okay.
something with you. Let me jump ahead to something first. Hold on. I should have put this slide earlier. Okay?
Mhm.
The key, though, to strategic storytelling, the stories I just described to you, okay? You could tell a few stories of a few boys, or Susan could tell the story of a woman who's been raped that we're helping rape victims, okay?
Mhm.
You could tell them as a simple feature, just one person's story. But the way I teach it is to teach it is the impact story opens a window onto all of your programming. If you say, we're working with rape victims, and I say, well, how many have you touched? How many have you reached? Okay. And you say 100, 200. Okay. You could tell Jane's story. Okay. And instead of just telling Jane's story, you also recognize, hey, she's a symbolic example. I convinced her to talk, to share her story. And now I can open small, telling about Jane, what happened to her, and how we're helping her. And then I will say, we will write that Jane is not alone. Jane is, or she's not the only one whom SheDad is helping. She's one of 200 women, one of 200 rape victims whom we're helping. So then one story then opens a window onto your entire program assisting those women. You see what I mean? Or we're working with a boy, with young men, right?
Mhm.
Teaching them respect for women, to choose, or conflict resolution, right? You have conflict resolution as one of your main programs. We need strategic storytelling to bring that to light. We've reached 1,000 young African boys and men through conflict resolution, let's say, okay? One or two or three stories can then open a window onto that Sam, is one of 1,000 African boys and young men we've reached through this conflict resolution training, okay? And to prove that, here is that Nigerian women's NGO for whom I'm global communications advisor, okay? They were like you. They're doing interesting trainings and workshops in rural Nigeria with women, poor women, rural women, who then were doing simple, like with cassava. They're growing cassava. They're selling cassava like papa, okay, like papa,
Mhm.
right? And they were just doing it, selling it on the roadside, okay? But this organization has trainings teaching women how to go online to sell, like through WhatsApp and Facebook, how to find more customers online in Nigeria. So these women then learn digital literacy skills and financial literacy skills, how to start a business. but they didn't have evidence to prove that. They said, we've had X number of trainings reaching 4,000 women, blah, blah. It's like, hey, where's the evidence of real impact? Okay. So,
That's right.
so I learned more about the organization, then gave them a storytelling, a writing workshop. Here you see here, leading our team to create the. So then with them, we created up high. You see our impact. You need Matarenda. You guys need an our impact page. Okay.
Okay.
Where you're going to put your evidence, your credible, believable evidence. Okay. So
Mhm.
now they have an our impact page. And you see these, I helped them write 3 stories. One is about their founder, Imade, okay? Which is important. You know why? We need Matarenda. You need your own origin story, okay? Not because me, I'm so interesting, okay? But,
Okay.
but because you're looking for partners who all, and again, we need to build trust. So the donor needs to know that, hey, are these people, this team at SheDad, are they truly inspired, motivated, committed, passionate to the cause? So Martha can share her story and even mention several others as Imade did, also to prove that you're competent, okay? Also to prove that you are a trustworthy partner, okay? Like, ooh, I like her. I like these members of the team. I believe in them. So you're earning trust. So you need our story, okay, to bring to light that as a piece of strategic communications. So I helped them
Okay.
create that. But then here are 2 women. And you can write stories like this. There's Queen, and then there's Mary's story, okay? And if you read
Okay.
those, if you read the stories, it follows the fork in the road. It describes what their life was like before, okay? But then if I were to click on this on the website, then you see that then it opens up and saying, she is one of 4,000 women we've now trained. So they are symbolic examples. You don't have to tell 4,000 stories, okay? You can tell
Okay.
a small handful of the boys and the women you've helped to then open a window onto your entire like this program. We need a story, and that initiative we need a story. Okay, we do this, we do that. We need to prove it with these kind of impact stories. Okay, you see what I mean?
That's right.
Now, just real quick, because I don't want to take that much more of your time. Okay, because
Okay.
I'm late there. All right, but I'm looking at look. For me, I am a smart enough, skeptical audience. So I'm looking for evidence. I don't have money for you, but imagine if I did, right? So I think what you need in the future is with your very first screen right here, okay?
Okay.
Guys, there have been studies done that when people go on their phone and they open up to your website, they open up to any website and they read that first screen, okay? If they are bored, if they're confused, if they suddenly lose interest, most people will bounce to another website. Okay, they'll click on something else because there's so much competition for their eyeballs that if you don't grab them from the beginning, you may lose them. Because right now, you're just introducing the organization from the very top. You're not saying anything about your achievements or whether you're
Okay.
an impactful organization, okay? What I would do is I would basically have 2 sentences on this first screen, okay? We're an organization that does X, Y, Z, okay? Comma, which is necessary because reasons A, B, C, okay? Because of widespread violence against women and drugs and crime and okay among youth. Wow, that's an argument. Okay. And then the second sentence would be that we have so far achieved X, Y, Z. Okay. And
That's right.
beneath X, Y, Z is a link to your impact page or to those impact stories. We've already achieved X, Y, Z, comma, yet challenges A, B, C continue. Okay. So now you're proving it's not just we aim, we hope, we're going to, from the very beginning, we're going to show we've already achieved something. We're not bullshitting. Okay.
That's right.
Click here for the evidence. And then, but that message, yet ABC challenges remain, is also sending a message to the donor, which is you can help us continue. Okay. We're not asking for the first donation, which is a huge risk to take. We're already making a difference. You can, if you support us, we can broaden and deepen our efforts. That's what we need help with. We've already launched. We've already been around for a number of years. We're already doing good. And we're being transparent about the good that we've done so far. You see what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Then you give the reader a reason to keep scrolling, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because then when I scroll down and I see language like, oh, I went too far here. Ooh. You say here. These are the first words we're reading now, okay? SheDad Foundation is a catalyst for the progressive transformation. Those are some big words. Transformation, okay? Taking them and turning their lives upside down. And I look at that, I'm looking at that, I'm saying, hey, show me. Don't just tell me, okay? I have my bullshit deflector. It's coming at me, okay? And I'm, like, hey, I'm looking for evidence. I'm an evidence-driven kind of guy, okay? So even right there, I want you to get to the point where you guys are more confident, which is we have the evidence. So whatever we're going to say, we're going to prove it. We're going to back it up with hyperlinks, okay?
Oh, that's right.
When we say we do this for women, boom, there's a link right there to prove that we're doing that for women. Okay? Because we know that we got to work hard to persuade our audience. Okay?
That's right.
And guys, I'm looking at, for each of these, I was clicking on them and it doesn't lead to something. I'm like, to learn more. Hey, then show me. Don't just tell me about the skills and leadership development that you do. Show me the impact of your mentorship, right? You could even have a link to your TV and radio shows. I didn't see links to those shows. Show me. Don't just tell me what you guys are doing, okay? And then, of course, you ask for the money. And I'm like, hey, you haven't done enough to persuade me yet.
That's right.
Yeah, you guys are really, truly making an impact. You see what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Same thing here. And by the way, can I just say one thing? Also, clicking on this and wanting it to lead to something. I mean, again, this is aspirational, shows what you're aspiring to do. But the most important thing is the evidence. Just one last thing here. Yeah. With the schedule, you know what? What I would do is I would remove the schedule from the website. I would say upcoming events. You could say we have this in November, we have that in December. But when I look at this right now, October, and I see that it's empty, what do I think as an member of the audience?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like they sound like they're very busy. They sound like they're very active, and nothing going on in October. Oh shit, we don't want them to know that. Okay, we can highlight, right? Like when we have activities, that previous activities and what's coming up. But this does not look good to show an empty month of October.
Oh, that's true.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you have every week we have stuff we're going to show every week. But again, this is strategic. What messages are we sending directly to the heart and mind of our audience? Okay. All right. So what do you guys think of all this?
Oh.
Woof is right.
Yeah.
I'm losing my voice with you guys.
Well, for me, it's really great. You really showed a whole lot of stuff that I wasn't thinking of. But also those are the things that I look for when an organization contacts us. Like this is what we do. Most times people contact, hi, I had a gentleman who once contacted me saying, He wants to mentor and coach us on how to get funding.
Mm.
So he inboxed on Facebook. I went to his profile, check everything. I only saw videos and pictures of him at some party. And like, I checked your name on Google, there was like nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, nah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Well,
Because
there
I didn't see how many organizations have you worked with, posted somewhere, even on your Facebook, like, yeah, we have mentored this person and they received 4 million. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't see that. So I just went like, nah, this guy wants to play around.
Maybe. Or right, he's unserious. I can't take him seriously, right?
That's right. And I couldn't. It just ended there. I just went like, I'm good. I'm good, man.
You know what? You know what, guys? Speaking of which, let me just show you one thing, okay? Because I also want you guys to do well individually as professionals too, okay? And so can you see this website now?
Yes.
This is my website, okay? And when you click on latest projects, this is for my global communications consultancy, okay?
Yeah.
Did it jump? I went to, yes, you jumped to the next page.
Yes.
Can you see Global Communications Toolkit at the top?
Toolkit,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Now here I am meeting more and more Africans in New York, working with more African NGOs, okay? And guess what? Here, now if you look at my website, I'm publishing evidence. This is a Nigerian NGO I gave a training to, okay? I do other things. This is a Cameroonian woman in Canada with her own NGO, okay? This is my Ghanaian colleague, okay? This is my, if you click, that's my Kenyan colleague and partner, okay? You see here, this is, I gave a training for another Nigerian NGO, meaning that it's not to show off. I'm just saying that I'm also providing evidence to prove that I mean what I say, that I'm doing what I say I'm doing. And so for each of you, even in your careers, whether it's for SheDad or for anything else, I hope that you take this away as an important lesson with your own brand building, with your personal professional brand building is, you know what? I need to prove that I am who I say I am, okay? And that I am as good as I say I am. Like Matarenda, you're in IT, right? You're looking for
That's
work
right.
in IT. Hey, you know, a CV, a resume is just words on a page. I need
That's
to
true.
somehow figure out a way to prove that I am as good as I say I am at IT issues, IT challenges, that sort of thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another subject on personal professional brand building. But ultimately, I want you guys to know that what Matarena referred to before, if you, and it takes time, if you create this content, this evidence-driven content for your website, it will make your work easier, because anytime then you meet any new person or any new organization and you need to introduce yourself, you could then say, here's a link to our impact page to learn more about who we are, what we do, and our positive impact on the ground in Southern Africa. There you go. Okay.
That's right. I was talking to the team when I went to apply for the visa for the UN women. You know, this consular guy asked me a question like, what do you do? Why are you going there? We know the UN, we don't know your organization, we don't know you, so why are you going there?
Yeah.
So I explained that I was with this organization and this is what I do. It's like, okay, give me your passport. I gave him. It's like, okay, let's see. So I could see through that window that he was typing my name on Google.
Yeah.
He typed my name and then the name of the organization. I'm like, why does he doesn't have to do that. Isn't this enough? So everything, my name came with the name of the organization
There
and
you
the
go.
interviews that I just like, oh, okay, I see you. You have done quite a lot of interviews with us. Okay, that's good. That's it.
Yes.
So sometimes things that we take for granted, like aligning yourself with the organization that you say you work with, there is somebody who wants to check it out if you've been talking about that organization, if you've been doing something. So I think
Evidence.
it's quite important.
Yes, yes. And that's why I see somehow we lost Pofo from the call. But he
Yeah.
told me when we first got on that he's new to the organization. And frankly, you know, for you're all young professionals, you know, I can see that it would be important for your faces to be on the website. It's one thing for what you do professionally, but hey, I also volunteer, I also do this and that. You need evidence. You
That's
know, so
right.
then it's like, hey, work hard for the organization. Maybe Matarena then says, okay, you've been with us long enough and you work hard enough. We want to put your face on the website. And that's good for you. That's good for your own brand building. Okay, that there's evidence that you are who you say you are.
That's
Really
right.
doing what you say you're doing. Okay.
That's right.
Is Impofo there? We lost him because I want to take a photo of the team here.
I think we lost him because I understand. I think we lost him.
Ah, that's too bad. I want to include him in, but I'm glad to see the four of you. So can we take a few photos?
Yeah, yeah, that's great.
Okay. Ready? Susan, you're ready too?
It's gonna be on the internet, so
That's
be
right.
on your best position.
Minimally on my LinkedIn and my website, okay? Yeah. Can you tilt down your camera? That's good. Susan,
Yeah.
just a little bit. That's good.
Yeah,
Fill up the
something like
frame.
that.
Good, good, good. Shop, shop. All right. Let me take 3 or 4 to make sure the eyes aren't closed. Okay, ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Hold on, patience, please. I take my screenshot photos very seriously. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And one more. Hold on. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. You can also share the pictures with me. I'll share with the team so they can also
will.
put on their platforms.
Sure.
And
I'll send a
I'll
link.
sh-
I'll send a link. Okay.
That's great stuff.
To whatever I write. So any last questions or comments?
I just have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Longezo. Go ahead.
Whatever you were scrolling down, will you be able to share us? Because I was trying to take some notes, then I lost it.
I'll send a link to Matarenda, a link to this recording. Okay, and then you can
okay.
and then you can have the recording too. Okay, so you can see my slides and if you miss my voice, you can hear my voice again. If you're having difficulty sleeping at night, let me just put on background. Yes, he helps me sleep. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So,
I didn't hear from Nazala. Did you
Nezala.
want to add anything?
I mean, it's I've actually learned a lot. You know, some of the things that you were saying, actually Martha shared with us before, especially that we need to be updating some of the things that we are doing on our, you know, Facebook pages, you know, our Facebook profiles. You know, it really, you know, those kind of things, they help a lot, you know.
Yes.
So with what you have shared with us today, you know, it's really kind of you know, the same thing. And I think we have a lot of work to update our website as well. So you know, thank you very much. It was really a wonderful meeting. Yeah, I've enjoyed
Thank
it.
you very much. And you know what? If I may, I just realized I know we need to go, but you know what? I forgot to mention one thing. Where should you begin? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because you said that Martha said we should do this, we should do that, right? Of course, I would want you moving forward to be strategic about it. But like I said, what I would do for you guys, next step would be, you know, like, hey, let's all gather, let's around a conference room table or Zoom call, whatever it is, right? Let's think about what for our organization, what does impact even look like? What are we aiming for in terms of impact? If we really think about one of the kids, one of the women we're helping, what are we hoping that their lives will look like 1 year later or 5 years later? Okay, what are we aiming to achieve with the people we're trying to help, right? So what's our own definition? What does impact look like? And then if we agree yes, we want this, we want that, then what does evidence of that impact look like? All right. So for everyone to be on the same page kind of thing, right? And then
That's
where
right.
would we find that evidence? Again, detective work. How do we find it? How do we dig it out, unearth it, right? How do we tell that story, right? And of course, to keep in mind, to always keep in mind, well, who exactly is the target audience for this? Okay, we're doing this for a reason, for a purpose, and will whatever we're collecting and writing about moving forward, Nizella, okay, is will it actually work? Will it hit the target we're aiming for? It's not just, oh yeah, we need to update our content, right? But
That's right.
with what content exactly and why that content and how exactly to create it, to present it, that sort of thing. Okay?
That's right.
Okay. Well, I think I covered everything. That was like a semester course right there. And then
we
work
need
is done.
we need certificates.
That's right. That's right.
Susan, do you have anything to say?
No, nothing. Just thank you so much for the training. Actually, it's it's a challenge actually that we are doing more than we are posting. We're doing a lot of work. We're always busy on ourselves, our organizations, but we don't really have evidence of what we're doing. Sometimes when I'm putting a presentation of what I did, people will think maybe I'm claiming to be this because I'm not keeping evidence. So thank you so much for that. Thank you.
See, there you go. That's why I say claim. Claim is a really important word. It's like, you say this, but why should I believe you?
Yes,
right?
yes. So important.
And I've been the only reason why I'm talking with you guys today is I've known Martha for many years now, right? And I believe in her. I believe in the organization, but I haven't done the detective work to prove that you guys truly have done, have impact on the ground. I'm, trust but verify. Okay. So I believe in you, but I see the need to be more persuasive.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
And one thing that I wanted to ask, Michael, I think, I've done quite a lot, but the storytelling part, I haven't really told my story that much, even though I'm all over the internet. How do you keep the consistency? How do you stay consistent? Because I saw when you started, I also spoke to you when we're in New York.
Yeah.
And you said you wrote like some 13 or 20 episodes. I think it's been so amazing watching you just being consistent. I get lost sometimes. I just want to talk politics and just leave everything. I want to stay consistent. Like I've got two things that I want to aim for to brand on. The SheDad Foundation and the business, which is the IT stuff.
Right.
So I think most of us are struggling to kind of find balance to stay consistent.
Well, you know what? I guess it does help to have even a communications content calendar, like to take a step back and say, all right, what are in this field, what are my short-term, long-term objectives are, and then how to create that content that matches up, that is focused and consistent. Yes, it's hard to do, especially if you're juggling the stuff you need to do to survive financially versus your labor of love, your passion projects, right? But there is a need sometimes for a bigger picture and then how to build toward that through communications, through creating that content,
That's right.
right? Yes. And so I call this creating facts on the ground. If any of you say to me on a personal, professional note, and I say, where would you like your career to be in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years down the road? Then we could also come up with, all right, then you need to start to create content in that direction that starts to show some of those skills, some of those passions of yours, some evidence. So you're not just bullshitting in the future, right? Like, oh, I want to go up in that career, in that direction. Well, what evidence can I find online that you're serious about this field, right? Unless you have, and I tell that to my kids too. I have 3 kids, and my eldest is 22, and my younger one is 20 and 15. So I also tell them about the need to start to build up this foundation of evidence to prove you are, you know, as serious as you claim to be about this or that. Okay?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, thank you so much for that.
My pleasure. Okay, let me know when I can help in the future. Oh, I put
Okay.
I put this link, by the way, in the chat in case
Yeah,
you want to read those stories. Okay.
okay.
Imade's origin story and the two on Mary and Queen. You can read and follow that model. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got that.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Michael, and
Okay.
have a great day further. We really greatly appreciate you,
My pleasure.
and thank you so much.
Okay. See you guys.
Okay, see you.
Hotso. Bye bye. Hotso. See ya. Bye.
Okay, have a great night.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.